Right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, in a move that raised its fair share of eyebrows around the NBA, the Minnesota Timberwolves today acquired All Star center Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz. In doing so, the Timberwolves paid a hefty price to obtain the services of Mr. Gobert, as they're sending 4 first-round picks, along with Patrick Beverly, Malik Beasley, Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, and Leandro Balmaro to Utah in exchange for the big man. But was this too much for the Timberwolves to send to Utah? Now, the positives are Gobert is a 3 time NBA Defensive Player of the Year. And for his 9 year career, he has averaged roughly about 12 and a half points per game to go along with nearly 12 boards and 2 blocks. But for me, I think that this is a classic example of somebody outthinking themselves. Now, yes, Gobert is a solid defender, but to me, I think that Minnesota just gave up too much for a player that is an offensive liability, while he's also set to earn roughly around $40 million in each of the next 4 seasons. So, Timberwolves general manager Tim Conley pulled the trigger on this deal, and he gave up a lot. Players and picks. Now, granted, if you're Minnesota, you don't need Rudy Gobert to come in there and score. You have Karl Anthony Towns, who you just gave an extension to. You have D'Angelo Russell. You still have Anthony Edwards, but you lost a lot of depth in the process. And I think Walker Kessler he has some potential. I mean, obviously, he was a first-round pick by Minnesota in this year's NBA draft. But make no mistake about it, if you watch the kid play at Auburn, you saw his ability as a rim protector. And I think that's something that he's going to grow into now as a member of the Utah Jazz. Obviously, this move puts the Timberwolves into luxury tax territory once you factor in, um, Gobert's deal along with Towns' deal. That's close to $80 million between those two guys right there, not to mention everybody else on this team who is getting paid. But at the end of the day, the big question that you have to ask yourself is, does this move make Minnesota an upper echelon team? And I say that because first and foremost, you want to be in that top 6 to avoid the play-in tournament. And obviously, you want to find a way to be even higher than that seed-wise come the time for the NBA playoffs. And you think about the teams that you got to contend with. You got your Golden States of the world as the defending NBA champions. I don't see the Lakers being as bad as they were this past season. The same thing can be said for the Los Angeles Clippers, as they are hopeful to have a healthy Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You look at the Memphis Grizzlies. The New Orleans Pelicans are in that mix as well. You think about the Dallas Mavericks. The Phoenix Suns are still a team that you have to focus on as well. So if you're Minnesota, you have to find a way to be in that top 6. I mean, they finished in 7th this past season. They were 2 games behind the Denver Nuggets. So they have to find a way to take that next step. Obviously, the addition of Gobert is a situation where he gives them a rim protector, takes something off of Karl Anthony Towns, because at the end of the day, Karl Anthony Towns, as good as he is offensively, we've never thought about Karl Anthony Towns from the defensive end of the floor. So this right here changes things. Minnesota knows that they have to get better defensively in order to take that next step. And I think it's a solid move. I'm just, skeptical about the price that Minnesota paid to acquire Gobert, between both the players and the picks. That's a lot to give up. So this is right now, this is showing that the Timberwolves are all in, and it's basically put up or shut up time for this deal. Now, with that said, the Jazz are clearly in rebuild mode. But with that said, they can come out of this smelling like a rose, because Danny Ainge is now running the front office for the Utah Jazz. Obviously, a change in philosophy. You have to wonder if Donovan Mitchell is going to be next. I know that there have been rumors about it, for the past several months. So would this deal that sends Gobert out of town kind of like expedite that process? We'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, if you're Utah, you get 4 first round picks unprotected, and you get players. But the biggest thing is, I think Walker Kessler could develop into another solid shot blocker for this Utah organization. And they've had some good ones over the years. You think about Rudy Gobert. You also think about the late, great Mark Eaton and what he meant as an interior presence for the Utah defense. I mean, he was the last player in NBA history to average more than 5 blocks for a season, which is darn near impossible to do in today's game. So I think that the Jazz are going to take the time to develop Walker Kessler. I think they're also going to take the time to really, be in a good position to develop some young players as well. Because when you think about the Utah Jazz as a whole, it's not a situation in Salt Lake City. No disrespect to anybody that's there, but it's not a place where you like free agents are going to be flocking to consistently. So if you're the Jazz, you have to focus on developing and scouting your young talent and going from there. So I think they have an opportunity to do that. And if they really want to start over, they can get themselves a king's ransom for Donovan Mitchell as well. So you ask yourself who won this trade. I give the edge to the Timberwolves short term, but I give the edge to the Jazz long term because I really think that Utah is going to be able to utilize those picks and package them into something that is going to help this franchise going forward. And then in their case, they got a bad contract off of their hands because I said it from the jump that the Jazz were going to regret giving Rudy Gobert the type of money that they did. That's superstar money that you gave a guy who was a shot blocker and a rim protector while also being an offensive liability. And we saw that in key moments of games over the past couple of seasons for the Jazz, where Gobert in the final couple of minutes in the game, whether it was regular season or postseason, found himself sitting on the bench. And even when he was out there at times, it was like playing 4-on-5 for the Utah Jazz. So I'm definitely going to give the Jazz the nod in that. But if you're the Timberwolves, it's all in. You've pushed your chips to the middle of the table. It's put up or shut up time. It's not even about saying, okay, let's just get to the second round. Let's get to the Western Conference Finals. With this move and then giving Karl Anthony Towns the extension that you gave him, along with putting D'Angelo Russell in place as well as Anthony Edwards, you gotta have championship aspirations. You can't blame it on anybody else. It's on the players. It's put up or shut up time. If you're Karl Anthony Towns, this team is giving you, this organization rather, is giving you everything to succeed. They're putting players around you. They're, from the offensive and defensive end of the floor. So you got to go out there and you have to deliver. You have to be able to step up in those clutch moments. So let's see if these young Timberwolves are ready to grow up, seize the moment, and seize the opportunity that is bestowed upon them. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'd be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.